Hi, hello, and welcome to this video on database administrators, that is shortly known as DBA, in the subject of database management systems. Before going into the video, let me introduce myself. I'm Sam Daniel Raj from First MCAD, and my roll number is 215213412 from Bishop College, Trichy. So this is how a DBA works in a real world situation in a company. Has access to all the databases in the company. First, let us see what is the basic definition of a DBA, that is database administrator. A database administrator is someone who uses specialized software to store and organize data in databases, data warehouses, data marts, and other data storage mediums. And he has the whole control of all the databases and how to modify it, how to give access to something, and all the other functionalities to a to a database. Before we jump into the main topic of what are all the duties of a database administrator and other things, first we have to know what are all the things that database administrator has control over. There are five types of structured query languages, or five divisions of structured query languages that is mostly available. They are DQL, DDL, DML, DCL, and TCL. DQL stands for data query language, and it is used to mainly view some data from the database, and the keyword for it is select. DDL is a data definition language that is used to define or create a table, and or to delete a table, or to alter the table and the contents, overall contents of the table overall. The DML is a data manipulation language which is used to control and manipulate the data inside the table. The main language SQL queries that are used in DML are update, insert, delete, and truncate. The fourth one is data control language, which is used to control the access that is being given to the other members of the other members who are taking any control over the database. The main queries that are used are grant and revoke. The last type is TCL, that is a transaction control language that is used to monitor all the transactions or the processes that are being done inside the database in a day-to-day basis, in a timely basis, including a save point, commit, and rollback. These are the five types of SQL. In this, the database administrator mainly uses the ones that I have highlighted in dark yellow color, and sometimes he uses the small light yellow colored. That is, the DDL, DCL, TCL is always being used by the database administrator, while the DML is used sometimes, whether when there has to be some changes that has to be made in the database. So now let us go and look into what are all the functions that a DBA are doing in a day-to-day basis, and what is the work of a database administrator looks like, the basic duties and works of a database administrator. So let us go one by one. The first and foremost duty of a database administrator is schema definition. A schema definition is nothing but the creation of the database schema. That is the whole columns, the whole records table, whatever that is needed for the company, whatever the information or the data that is needed by the company will be put in the form of a table. Those tables are being designed exactly by these database administrators. They are the ones that create using SQL, NoSQL, and other SQL languages, and they create all these things, and also they alter the table, and if they don't want any information, they have the power to drop the table or delete the table altogether. This is the first and foremost function of a database administrator. The second one is the storage structure and access method definition. So the storage structure, where the database should be stored, in what data warehouse should our database reside in. So these are all the things, and how the access should be given. Who and all can access these all these data from this database. These are all the powers that have been given to the database administrator. He looks over, or he administrates all these things all together. The third one is schema and physical organizational modifications. The database administrator makes changes to the schema and the whole physical organization when and where it is needed. So it also reflects the changing needs of the organization, and it also can be used to alter the physical organization to improve the performance. That is, we can get all the data into a concise table instead of putting a redundant things into the table again and again. They can concisely put what are all the data that is really needed for the company, and other data can be discarded. These are all the things that these are all the changes that can be made by the database administrator using the SQL. The fourth one is the granting of authorizations, right? Not everyone should have the access to the database. Only the database administrator should have the power to control whole database of a company. A database is the information source of any company and any industry. So it is the most important part. So only a database administrator should give the authorizations. By granting different types of authorization, the database administrator can regulate which parts of the database that various users can access. A naive user can access only a certain part. A end user can access only a certain part of the database. Not everything can be accessed by everyone. The authorization information is kept in a like a special system, right? A special system structure that the database system consults whenever someone attempts to access the data in the system. So whenever someone wants to access something, they have to get permission from the database administrator. Then only we can access. We can see in Oracle is as we can see in Oracle database, the we should enter a password and we should enter a host string to enter in the database itself. So before logging in itself, the host string will be maintained by the database administrator. The host string, if it is known by the user only, we can access the database at all. So this is the fourth function of a database administrator. The last but not the least function of a database administrator is the routine maintenance. The some of the examples of maintenance activities are periodically we should back up the backing up is a very important thing to be done either weekly or monthly or even sometimes daily. All the data that has been gathered by the company that will be stored on the database, and the database should be backed up safely in a remote server or a server separately assigned to it daily, so that no data is lost at any point. Also, there is we should the database administrator should ensure that there is enough free disk space that is available for all the normal operations. If not, he have to clear something, or he should add some extra storage facilities into it. And also he has to monitor all the jobs that are being running in the database. All the works and all the queries that are running inside the database should be monitored by him all the times. And these are some of the main functions of the database administrator, along with other functions like giving a report of the database, giving a detailed analysis of the database, and sometimes even a data mining should be done by the database administrator to give knowledgeable information to the company to for the well growth of the company and for marketing purposes as well. So these are some of the main functions of a database administrator. So, what are all the skills that are required to be a database administrator? This is something we have to acquire. These are all the things, or these are all the things that are mandatory for a database administrator. First and foremost, the DBA should have a thorough knowledge of all the database queries, including SQL, NoSQL, PostgreSQL, MySQL, and all other MongoDB, and all other database queries, all the queries. And also you should also have knowledge on database theory, database design, knowledge about the relational database system itself, example like Microsoft SQL Server or MySQL, and also the whole transact SQL programming, query languages, all query languages. You should also have a general understanding of distributed computer architectures, like a client-server model or client-client model, server-server model, or these are all some of the models of distributed computing architectures. The database administrator should have the whole understanding of these architectures, so that he can work and put data where and when required only. So he's also have understanding of the operating systems that the database is working on, and also how the database can be transferred from one operating system to another operating system. So we should have a thorough understanding of all the operating systems like Windows, Linux, Mac, etc. You should also have an understanding of storage technologies and networking, Networking is very important for the transfer protocols and also the transfer of information, data, and all the other things throughout the company for all the other various purposes. It also should take care of all the storage, right? So you should also know about all the storage technologies like HDD, SDD, yeah, cloud storage, and other storage technologies as well. The general understanding of routine maintenance, recovery, and handling of failover of a database is also a mandatory requirement for a DBA. If you possess all these qualities, if you are very thorough in all these qualities, you are eligible to be a database administrator. And it is a very high paying job that is very much needed in all the IT sectors and all the companies, and it is a rudimentary job that but pays very high prices. So thank you for watching this video and gathering much information about database administrators. If you have any questions, you can mail me at this email ID, and you can also ping me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all other social medias where I am. And the credits for this presentation template goes to Slidesco, including some icons I have taken from Flat Icon and the infographics and images that I have taken from FreePic. So thank you so much for listening to this video. Meet you in the next video. Thank you.